listening to the Business and Tech Podcast, your go-to source for all the tech needs in your business. Now, here's your host, tech guru, and CEO, Jack Garzella.
Okay, welcome to Season 2 of the Business and Tech Podcast. Hey, we're looking forward to Season 2. Did a lot of traveling over the last few months between Season 1 and Season 2. I'll talk about that in a second. Also did a lot of work getting the first set of podcasts ready. So we have about 6 or 8, I think, already edited and ready to go. So that'll be a lot of fun. Finally, this podcast is for you. It's for you to learn about how to manage business and manage technology and really put the two together to be successful and drive results. So that is really what this podcast is about. That's why we're bringing the interviews on, so that you can learn from other people. Don't make the same mistake twice. One of my big rules in the world. So that's what we're looking to do in this podcast. Okay, we have a number of great interviews lined up for Season 2. Looking forward to all of that. We have 6 or 8 already in the can, ready to go, and quite a few more planned. We'll also be doing every other week that we don't release a formal interview. I'll be doing some more casual conversations with people, as well as just on various topics that I've been asked to talk about over time. So we're looking forward to everything. A couple big changes. First of all, Season 1 is fully posted on YouTube. You can find the link to our YouTube channel down on the show notes. We'd love subscribers. We don't have that many subscribers right now because we just built the channel. So if you would log in there and subscribe, that would be awesome. We can get a little more branding done, a little more, make it a little easier to find that channel if you would do that. We will be posting the podcasts, especially the video ones, where we have video on YouTube moving forward. We also have some webinars and masterminds we'll be doing. So I was also asked to, do a little bit more detail on some of the architecture, business planning, and project stuff that we talk about, and how to meld the two groups together. So we'll be doing that also. So if you'd like to know about these various webinars, these various masterminds we're going to have, as well as some live streams, definitely follow us and follow myself on Instagram. I'm at Jack Garzella Official, as well as TBATP on Instagram. Well, I'm also on Twitter. The podcast is on Twitter also. We got a handle there. I do check all of them. So feel free to DM me at any point on those channels. Well, for Season 2, the first episode, which will be released at the same time I release this relaunch, or launch of Season 2, I should say, will be Rob Martin. Rob Martin works for Deloitte. He's a longtime architect, works in a lot of large enterprise projects, but I met him through JT Fox's organization and the founders. So he does a lot of work with me, vetting out the tech companies there, the tech investments people ask for, as well as just other general business stuff. In fact, we're both in Founders X, which is the highest level of that group, working with a individual billionaire, well, 3 billionaires actually, but that group in particular is 1 billionaire out of Chicago that we call Tycoon X. Anyway, irregardless of that, Rob is a great guy. Has a lot of insight. He brought up a couple of really good points that I think you guys will like when you look at when you listen to the podcast. We'll also have several other interviews. We'll have Rob and Kim and David back at some point in those interviews. I've got several new people we're interviewing, as well as some other celebrities. So it should be a good Season 2. And if you have comments or topics you'd like us to cover, definitely DM me, let us know. All the links are in the show notes, so feel free to do that. Finally, some closing thoughts here. Over the last few months, while we had this little break between Season 1 and Season 2, I actually did quite a bit of traveling to mini conferences, business and technical conferences, as well as several workshops and things like that. One was spent a couple of them with Hugh Hilton and JT's group, with billionaire Fred out at his beach house. You can see some of those pictures on my social media. But or if you go to jack.garzella.info, you'll see some of the pictures there. But anyway, a couple observations for that I'm noticing. I think the core business for people that is doing startups or growth companies, that's still very, very strong. There's a lot of demand out there for products and services, and that doesn't seem to be, even with the economy weakening here, a problem, at least a big problem. Big problem is finding the right people still. Between the return to the office and the work and just finding good engineers, that's still a struggle for everybody. If you got good ones, it's hard to keep them, and finding a new one out of the blue is quite hard. Maybe that'll be a little simpler with the economy coming down, but I don't know, because the good ones are going to stay at their companies, or the companies are going to try and keep them. Finally, the biggest thing that I've seen, though, is funding. 2 years ago, year ago, 3 years ago, whatever, you could get just about anything funded at almost any level, as long as it was a pretty good idea and it was vetted to some level. Now what I'm finding is, especially startups and businesses that have no revenue or no profits or break even if they have revenue, it's getting much harder to, especially if they're small, getting much harder to fund those, especially if they're asking over $1 million. So that's the big difference I've seen. Is I'm working with 2 or 3 right now that called me to kind of help with their investor pitch and help them connect them with some investors that need over $1 million for their next phase. And because they do not either have revenue or some of them are light in revenue, even though they have a little bit of revenue, we're finding that pitches are having to go a lot deeper and make people very much more comfortable than we had to, say, like I said, 18 months ago, 2 years ago. So we'll have some different topics on that. I'll probably bring some investors on the interviewing for you, as well as I've got quite a few business executives lined up so that we can talk to some people about product management and financial management, well as we've got some interviews lined up in the fintech space and things like that. So looking forward to it. Please follow us, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you like to see us. We'll post everywhere, and looking forward to kicking off season 2 here. And thanks a lot for listening. And hey, by the way, give us those 5-star ratings if you like the content. That always helps put us up in the ratings, but also just gives us feedback knowing you're listening and you're liking what you hear. Give us that feedback, even through comments and, like I said, the social media channels. All right. Talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.